Well, here we are. Hello and welcome, everyone. This is the beginning of a new adventure called Enjoy the Show. My name is Judy Jandora, and I'll be your host for this adventure. And as for those of you who have yet to experience the wonderful energies of my co-host, let me introduce you to him, Brian Kelly. Hello.
Hello. Hello, Judy. Hello, everyone. Good to be here with you again. Yet another show to add to the repertoire of awesomeness. And I know there's probably a lot of people out there listening in the chat room who are a part of the other shows. So I just want to extend a nice, warm, wonderful, loving welcome to everybody who is tuning in to listening to us be silly for the very first time. So happy to be here, Judy, and I can't say how impressed I have been with your eagerness to get this going and all the work that you put into it. So kudos to you. I love you, and I'm so honored to have this opportunity to be here with you here in San Diego this afternoon.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you, Brian. That's just beautiful. And guess what? Kisses! Kisses! We also have a very special guest for our debut show, Lisa Harrison. Welcome, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me, and I want to welcome you officially to the network repertoire, as Brian called it. So it's a pleasure.
I am so honored, and I'm so grateful, and thank you. What fun this is going to be.
Christina in the chat room says, "Hi, Brian. You know you giggle all the time." Yes, Christina, I know that. Thank you for pointing it out. I appreciate it, and kisses to you as well. Sorry, Judy, go ahead.
That's cool. There are a lot of people on here that are joining us from other realms, places that, they haven't been listening into the shows that you all have and that we all love so much. And there are people from my hometown. Hello, everybody. People from around here, all kinds of new people. So I would like for you, Brian, to kind of tell people who you are, and then I'll get to that. And then I'd love to get to Lisa as well. But let's start off with you, Brian. Let people know who you are. What you a big boy?
On the spot. Gosh, I guess I should have solved.
Better you than me.
We didn't do a whole heck of a lot of planning as far as the agenda that I knew that Judy had planned before we talked in the 15 minutes leading up to the show. So, okay, who am I? Wow. Well, they call me Giggles. I laugh a lot. I am a self-prescribed truth seeker. I kind of came into the path of, trying to understand who I am and what my place is here in this world a few years ago. I think, bits and pieces I've been trying to work on my whole life, but I kind of stumbled into the scene in the middle of 2012 with a little interview I did with a Intel insider by the name of Poof, who, God rest his soul, rest in peace, has recently passed on. And I did this interview, and a lot of very interesting information came out as a result, and the interview ended up being advertised on the American Kabuki blog around September or October of 2012, and it went viral over the course of a few hours, and that ultimately led me to my introduction to Heather and the One People's Public Trust, which many of you listening and in the chat room probably are very well aware of. There's probably a few of you that haven't heard about it, and it would take the first hour of this show for me to give a proper explanation, but let's just say that the work that I got involved in with Lisa and Dee and Heather and American Kabuki and Bob and Chris and many others has ultimately led me to now doing all of these radio shows and updating people with what's going on in the world and the changeover and this great shift that we're in the middle of experiencing right now, both on an energetic and spiritual and physical level. And it's just turned into a whole heck of a lot of fun. I didn't really have any intention of being doing radio shows. I do have a degree in communications at San Diego State. I never thought I was going to use it for anything. It ended up working out because I really love just sharing with people more so than anything what I'm experiencing in this world. what's happening through my perspective. Some people might enjoy what I have to say. Some people might totally not get it and not like it whatsoever, and that doesn't really bother me either way, because I just I really get a high and a sense of purpose in my ability to communicate what it is that I'm feeling, and that's really become my passion, because we're at this great precipice in the evolution of humanity, and there's so much going on, and so many people are out there looking for answers, and a lot of people have gotten into the habit of looking outside of themselves to try to figure out what's going on in this world, and I feel like we're in this expansive time where now so many people are beginning to do they're beginning to look ultimately where all the answers are, which is within each of us. There's no person out there that's going to tell you anything that you can't already know from within. And, the journey within is just that. It's a journey. And there's so much energetically that's happening right now that I think that there's so many people all over the world having these aha moments, and they don't have anybody to talk to about it. And so doing these radio shows and creating this community where people can go and talk to like-minded souls and find connections with people from all over the world. I mean, the internet is a beautiful thing. We have the ability to connect. Lisa's in Australia. I'm in San Diego. Judy, you were in the East Coast somewhere. I can't remember where you're from. Maryland.
Yeah.
And you got all these people from all these other countries that are able to connect and find people to share in their experiences with via Skype and via radio shows on Blog Talk and whatever it might be, and building those connections and reestablishing what feels like long-time bonds with people that you may have just met in physicality or even just virtually is just the most amazing feeling. To be able to have that and be able to share it with others is just such a gift. And we're in a time where all of that is only going to continue to speed up, and it's this awesome quickening, and it's fun. And if I have any message whatsoever to share at all, it's have fun no matter what. Be excited and share that with everybody that you can, because that energy is so beyond contagious, and I think that's probably a big part of what spawned this show is, Judy and her giggling basket case self that she is, and I mean that with all the love in the world. And, my tendency to laugh hysterically at absolutely nothing as well. Our energetics found each other, and we thought what better way to celebrate that than to start a radio show. And here we are now. So it's just an honor to be a part of something that's new and fresh and so amazing. And, what can ultimately come of it, the options are infinite, and the possibilities that are available in each moment. So,
wow, bro.
Wow, that was rant number 1, 2, and 3.
Wow. That was so cool. Woo! Okay.
Hey, I'm not done yet. No, I'm just kidding.
Go for it.
All right, now I'm done. I'm just kidding.
I just want to welcome all of you out there on the chat and listening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for lending your energies and your love. It's so cool. I'm just loving every minute of this already. Lisa, hello, girl. Now I want you to talk.
I can't promise I will talk consistently and for as long as Brian did. Oh, my God.
Or maybe not.
My rants are becoming a habit, so get used to them, Lisa.
Hey,
they're great. I love them.
Lisa, I have some questions for you. First of all, there are going to be a lot of people who may not know who you are yet. I've actually been listening to Lisa do interviews with all of the people that I've been interested in for years and years and years, studying my understanding of the awakening, what's going on in the world right now, the love that's coming out of the burning ashes all around us. I really do see this as all being very much like the phoenix. And I've listened to Lisa for years, and I still have kind of a little bit of a complex here where I'm just want to bow down. Sorry, Lisa.
Oh, God, no.
Like that. I know you hate that stuff. I know, but yeah, I'll get over it.
Secretly, she very much enjoys it, though. Let's just be honest with ourselves. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry. I'm sorry, Judy. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I rudely interrupt at times, so anybody's not used to my style, I just kind of throw my things in from time to time. So. I'm sorry, Judy. Go ahead.
Say, Lisa, nobody can hear you. I'm with him.
Oh yeah, I guess it's that the cue is the conch has been passed to you, Lisa. So please, go ahead.
What's the question exactly?
Yeah, thank you. No, I guess I didn't finish, did I?
Oh.
Fun. My question is, I want to know about how you found your awakening. I know this is a crazy thing to throw out in the very beginning, but it's been on my mind over the past couple of days, and it's kind of like the only question I have, other than what's going to come up in the show. How did you get to where you are right now? What brought this about for you?
Oh, okay. Well, I think like many, I came in with a sense of knowing that there was something seriously wrong with what I saw in the world. I just seemed to see for me, I just saw and the way people treated each other, and nothing felt right. It was like I bought a ticket and ended up on the wrong ride. And I spent a lot of time in my teens looking at a lot of the conspiracy stuff. There was only a couple of alternative magazines that you could buy in the time before the internet really kind of exploded. Mm-hmm. And then in the mid-90s, I came across the Mayan calendar. And to me, it made absolute sense that this whole experiment was going to come to an end because it wasn't working. And the Mayan calendar led me on years of research of not just the Mayans, but all of the other ancient cultures who have talked about the same thing. Mm-hmm. That there are ages, and each age comes to an end. The Chinese were calling it the golden age that was coming next. Okay. And that gave me a sense of purpose as well. I knew I had to be, there was just this knowing that I had to be a part of this. I had to help make this happen. I had to be involved. Yeah. And for me, it was a personal thing. I just did a lot of research and a lot of personal growth, I guess. Mm-hmm. Because I felt that it was up to each and every one of us, and in order to do my part, I just had to do my part. And then come, 2009, I think, 2010, because at the time when I came across the Mayan calendar, 2012 seemed like a lifetime away. It was, yeah. But suddenly in 2009, it was just around the corner again. Mm-hmm. And my research, I guess, went to another level, and I found myself watching a lot of interviews, especially a lot of Project Camelot stuff, mm-hmm. and finding that the questions I had weren't getting answered. And I really wanted to reach out and try and talk to these people and get my questions answered. And it just evolved into, it's hard to get in touch with some of these people. They're very public personalities, and you need to you need to have a name in order to even get close to them.
Right. That's what I was wondering. How does that start? How did you start it?
It must have just been part of the plan. Mm-hmm. It must have just been meant to be because it was easy. Cool. It just happened. I had an opportunity to speak to, who was it? Who was the very first interview? That's a good question.
I think so,
Richard Presser. Richard Presser. He's an Australian guy that was living in the States, not well known at all. Mm-hmm. And I just said I'd like to talk to him about a book he'd written. I said, if you like, I'll record the conversation. We'll put it up on YouTube. And I thought, if other people have got the same questions I do, there might be 5 people out there that are interested, and they'll find it, and that's great to help somebody. And he agreed. And for whatever reason, that video got a really good response. From there, I think I emailed Lisa Renee, and Lisa Renee said, I have no idea why, but when I got your email, the people that she connects to, talks to, whatever, told her she had to do it. She had to do this interview with me.
Cool.
I went, okay, great, let's do it.
She's awesome.
Then I contacted George Cavassalis, and it was exactly the same thing. He just knew he had to do this interview with me. And so like everybody I approached was being told by their inner guidance that they had to go along with this. Even they had no idea who I was. I wasn't anybody in terms of, the alternative media scene. I was just this anonymous girl from Australia. But they all felt compelled to go ahead and do an interview with me, and it just snowballed.
That's amazing.
So in terms of, it's the easiest thing I've ever done in that respect, and getting something off the ground.
Yeah. Because you didn't have to go for it. It was meant to be. There was already an energy stream there for you. You just had to go in and make it happen.
Yeah.
Be it, actually. Yes.
And I didn't set out to, I don't know, I think I was completely naive, and perhaps...
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, the greater part of me just didn't even let me think about it or go there. I didn't even contemplate any of it. It was just, I want to talk to you. I've got questions that I'm not getting answered. And if it helps you, I'll make those things public. And that's how it went.
And so you've been doing this just since 2009?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I felt like you've been on longer.
No, I've never even heard the story. So
so it was a good question.
Good question.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. That's so cool. If you have anything more to add, please do.
Oh, well, let's just see how it evolves, shall we?
What was that?
Let's just see how this evolves.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I was talking to Brian, I think even before you got back on before the show, Lisa, about an idea that I came up with just maybe an hour ago for something that might be fun for everybody, and that kind of would be maybe a theme, but since I don't really like putting anything in cement, we'll just see how it goes from here. But that would be to pull a quote out just before the show, either he or I, and not tell the other what it is, and bring it out, and then just really play with that quote and bring callers into it to talk about what they think about it, and kind of like...
Judy,
yes.
Real quick, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Because we're on the topic of Brian sharing and now Lisa sharing, I'm thinking, man, it's just time for Judy to share. So
I forgot that part.
So Judy, what brought you here? And let me phrase this in the right way because it's going to be a multiple part question.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. What was it that triggered your awakening?
Okay,
and
there. And can you just hold the others because I'll forget them by the time I get to them. Seriously.
Fair enough.
Can you do that? Or
everything is up for negotiation. Accept it. Go ahead.
Thank you. My awakening. Strangely enough, it sounds a whole lot like what Lisa was going through. I always felt my whole life like I landed in a family that made no sense to me. I landed in an area that I never really felt connected. I never completely felt connected. I feel way more connected with the people there now than I ever did growing up. Though I didn't start in my teens, I think I've got probably at least a decade on Lisa. I didn't start until really I picked out little bits and pieces along the way, knowing that there was something more. There was something more mysterious, more interesting, greater, because this just wasn't getting it. It just wasn't. But I also just kind of like swung in kind of the mid-levels and felt disconnected, really. I remember when I was a child, I remember saying, I must have been adopted. I had to have been adopted. This just doesn't make any sense, until I got older and realized that my parents wouldn't be adopting anybody. So I knew that I was there for a reason. And it still didn't make any sense. It makes perfect sense now. But along the way, I actually went through a period where, after I had my son, who's 15 years old now, I went through a period where I threw myself into big-time victim mode. and became the victim, and because the relationship that was 7 years before that didn't work out, and really I knew it while I was pregnant, and it was just like, shoot, everything's changing, and I hate this, blah, 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 and so I made him the scapegoat for me and made him into, some evil monster for a good 4 or 5 years, and really just drove my body into absolute dysmorphia. Actually grew a few tumors and ended up having to have surgery and all of that stuff. But it was during that time I let go of my house, where I sold my house, and I moved into an apartment with my son, who was 5 years old at the time, and I just had been looking. I'd been doing some researching. The internet was just kind of coming in, and I got really ill. And before my surgery, for about 5 years actually, I spent that time not being able to physically do much of anything on the internet, just doing every bit of research that I could possibly do, actually all day long, as often as I could, as much as I could when I wasn't sleeping, because I basically just had almost no blood left in my system. There was also another time where I was supposed to be in court as part of my little battle to regain some money that I felt was taken from me from the whole child support stuff. And I woke up the next day and I sat there and I could not for the life of me remember what I was supposed to be doing. And I knew that there was something, but my mind would not allow me to find it. And so I sat there until I got a phone call from my attorney saying, "Where were you?" And I was just like, oh my God, I completely did not go there. And she's like, you're just going to have to. And instantaneously, I did. And I said to her, I just did. And she's like, no, really, you're going to have to let go of this because you didn't show up. So the ruling went his way. And so, you would do yourself a big favor to just let it go. And I said, no, I just did. I really did. And from that moment on, it was just a real release, a true release of all the things that made me, quote unquote, the victim. And, even more intensely, I started doing this studying. And then all of a sudden, skipped several years ahead, lots of stuff in between. You guys will all hear all about it over time. I had my group called Soul Journey, which was absolutely beautiful, amazing, wonderful. I met so many wonderful people. I can walk out into my town anywhere, and there are just beautiful, awakened people everywhere, and so loving and caring and accepting. And then as far as meeting you guys, I started listening to One People's Public Trust back in February and just truly did what I do all the time now. I feel what's right and what isn't, and I discern from the inside of myself, the feeling center of who I am, my heart, and it felt really, really right, and it's continued to feel really, really right, and even more so and more so, and it's expanding and it's beautiful. And I was sitting there one night, 6 weeks ago, and listening to one of the shows, and I had this prompting, give them a call, and all of a sudden I got butterflies, and I'm like, no, I don't want to, and it's like, no, give them a call, you really have to. So I did, and then I was so nervously laughed all over the show, and you guys loved it. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, we thought it was hilarious.
Did you actually hear the clip that Barbara put together?
Yes,
of that show?
I think it's called Judy Jandora laughing or something like that. But it was all of us. It was all dubbed together. It was so funny. It was funny. It was really funny. And then you guys took off like immediately after that, and I didn't talk to you the whole time. I've talked to Brian 2 times before tonight, people. They were great conversations, but there were only 2 conversations. So this is going to be a whole lot of fun of getting to know you for all of us. Absolutely, yeah. It's funny how the whole thing, came together, because these are the kinds of things that they just organically happen when they're supposed to. And I knew, I told Judy straight up. I said I was really nervous that I was taking on a 5th weekly radio show for me, and that it was, I was concerned that, I was overloading myself, but I also knew that it was so my comfort zone. I mean, a show that revolves around joy and how to share with others, that I had to do it. It's kind of like the people that Lisa wanted to interview. They knew they had to do it. I knew I had to do it. And then right when I made the commitment, the Morning Brew show that I'm on Wednesdays and Thursdays ended up having their last show this morning because Gwen decided to take her life in another direction. So it knocked 2 of my shows off. So now this is my 3rd as opposed to my 5th show. So it ended up all working out for perfectly. As
That's awesome.
how I could have. I haven't even shared that with you yet.
No, I know, but it makes. Yeah. I know that Gwen's was off. I didn't even think about it. So wow. And Lisa, I've got a question for you here. It's kind of a technical how to do things question because I'm afraid to go back and forth between screens just yet. I'm not. Okay. How do I take a phone call? How do I know who has the hand up and which button do I press?
Are you looking at the studio now?
Yes.
Can you see the list of callers?
Oh, I see. So the question marks are the ones with the hands up, and I just press the live one.
Microphone button, yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you. That wasn't so hard.
Oh, cool. We're bringing in a caller?
How about we do?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Feels right.
Who's going to be our first caller? Woo! Somebody who's been on the longest. Let's see who this is. Here we go.
Area code?
Oh, area code 970. Thank you, Lisa. That was tandem.
Oh.
Hello?
Your mic's live.
Hello?
Hi, everyone. It's Katie. Yay, I am the first caller.
Yay, welcome.
Yay.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Hi. What's going on?
Oh, it's hot down here in the Southwest.
Yeah.
Hey, Katie, are you on speakerphone in your bathroom?
No, I'm in an office. My phone is in the car that is not here right now. So, can you hear me okay? Does it sound like I'm in a bathroom? Okay.
He's just messing with you, Katie.
I'm sorry, Katie.
Okay, good. All right.
We'll get him back, I promise.
Katie, what do you have to share? What kind of question do you have? Give it to us.
Well, okay, so what is the intention for this show?
Joy?
Great question. Dude, Katie, you read my mind because that was going to be, when I said I had a question for Judy, that was going to be my second question.
Ooh, good one.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, okay. Well, let me see if I can pull it out of thin air right now for you. Because I think that the intention for the show is going to be really truly living in joy through this crazy tumultuous time that we're all going through. It can look like a lot of things to a lot of people. But I really believe that it's a choice. And I think it's time for us to share how we can actually be able to see the things that are going on around us through the heart space and through the energy that is love. And I think when we do that, I know when we do that, it brings joy. Why not be in joy? I mean, it just makes no sense. We got to let go and let flow. I feel like we're in a birthing right now. I feel like humanity is in the passageway, the birth canal, and the light is starting to hit our heads, and it's time for us to move through it. Go back and redecorate the womb, and it just doesn't have anything left to give us. So I think that we need to just find a way to be in joy here, and that's what this is about for me at this point.
Let's just pull that baby out already. All right?
Yeah, you're not kidding, you guys. Seriously, she's like way overdue. No.
On its head.
She's
Pull
right
the
on
baby
time.
out.
Stop talking over each other, you two. I can't hear what anyone's saying.
Sorry, Lisa. No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
Katie, what did you say, hon?
Oh, I said the baby is overdue, but then I'm like, oh no, wait, she's right on time. I have to remember that.
Good catch. Good catch.
It is. It's the female energy. It is the goddess energy. This is the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I just want to.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, about KP. So I just read KP's little thing that he put out on the fact that all hell is breaking loose, and I feel really great about it because I went through something really, my own hell, my own unraveling, I guess. I mean, my awakening has been happening in stages. I'm sure, like layers just get pulled off,
Right.
and it's great because now I'm in a place where other people are going through it, and I get to hold space and compassion for everyone else and be like, yeah, you guys, this is the most amazing, wonderful thing that could have ever happened to you in your life. I know it doesn't look like that right now, but it's the most incredible gift that you've ever received.
Here.
Good for you, Katie.
Yeah.
It's similar to what we said on the radio the other day about chaos and the creativity that comes out of that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the time that we're in right now. This is, and many of us are midwives in this process, on many different levels.
Myself included. I've always wanted to be a midwife. So.
Cool. Well, here we are. That's awesome, Katie. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think so many of us now are really just being cheerleaders for this process because, like I said before, it can look a lot of different ways, and a lot of people are really well conditioned to see things in a negative and fearful way, and that's just conditioning. It's not true. Anything that breeds fear is really not true because it's not love, and love to me is the only truth there is. And
point.
So, here we are, and we're in an incredible time, and this is the time for us to cheer each other on and really be, with it and make this a joyful experience.
I have a question for you. Katie.
Why not?
Hey, Katie, I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right, it's not, honestly, the picture, the vision I'm getting right now of Katie is she's in a stall in a bathroom with the door closed and locked on speakerphone. That's what it sounds like. I'm sorry, Katie, I'm just saying. You're coming through clearly. But here's my question for you, though, all seriousness. What brings you the most joy?
Ooh.
Creating, being creative, using my imagination because I've been a manifester of my reality for a decade at least now, consciously doing it. And however, within last year there was an unconsciously created aspect that had been created, but now it's creation and co-collaboration with other artists, an artist is just, you see something in your head, you've never seen it before, you actually make it a reality, and people can then look at it, and that's essentially what we're up to, or what I'm up to. And then, ideally living in community with everybody else, just so I can see other reflections of myself in everybody else. At the same, in person, talking over the phone is great and being in Skype, but there's nothing like being in person with each other. And being able to exchange codes,
Katie,
just by sitting next to the person. So,
yeah, Katie, I get you so clearly here. In so many ways, we have a lot in common. I'm the same way. I love being with people, but I'm also very creative. I'm an artist as well. I do lots of different things, and for me, if I'm not doing that, it's like I'm not being. So I only do that. And being in communion with another being or many other beings is also creative. It's all creative, but that seems to be, it seems like the artists and the healers are the ones that are, in the forefront right now. So good for you, girl.
Good for you too, Judy.
Yeah, thank you.
Good for you, Judy. That was so cute.
Oh, Brett.
What about me, Katie? What about me?
You suck, bro.
Brian. I think no.
Whoever's in the stall next to you is going to be really confused.
I could say several things right now, and I love you. So.
Oh, don't hold it back. We love you too, Katie.
Bye, Katie.
Somebody asked in the chat room, what brings me the most joy? It looks like that's what Lisa's sharing with me. I wasn't following the chat rooms. It's going so cool in the chat room. It's pretty dang good for our debut show, by the way. What brings me the most joy? I'd say what brings me the most joy is sharing my joy with others.
That's awesome. How do you do that, Brian?
How do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
By just being joyful and not holding back, and just speaking my truth and expressing how I feel and doing everything I can to make people laugh, make people feel comfortable, make people smile on every opportunity I ever possibly can have. And that brings me joy. What brings me the most joy is when I can see what I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm feeling, what I'm sharing brings joy to others. That's what brings me the most joy.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. How about you, Lisa?
Oh, ditto.
Round table. Oh, ditto.
Ditto. Yeah. Okay. What brings me the most joy? Seeing expansion is what it brings me joy right now. And watching people expand mentally, spiritually, is just the most amazing feeling. And however that happens, and whatever the trigger is.
You know, you did something on the show the other night, Lisa, I think it was last night, that really just went into every cell in my body because I recognized it, and it felt amazing, and it was just beautiful. I think I had tears in my eyes. But you were talking about that moment when you made the decision. It was like you had to ask yourself, what is worth, what would I give to do what I'm doing here and be who I'm being here, and to help humanity through this, to have it so that humanity goes through its awakening. And I don't know if you can remember all of what you said, but I would love for you to repeat that if you can, or at least come up with it again, because I just thought it was beautiful.
You're talking about the when Al-Farah posed that question to me.
Oh, yeah.
The question he posed to me was, what would you sacrifice to ensure humanity's ascension? And I went through a series of steps. I mean, the first thing what do I give up? What do I sacrifice? Material, all my material possessions? Well, I have absolutely no attachment to any of it, so that's not a sacrifice. My life itself, I don't believe in death, so that's no sacrifice. And I finally got to the point, well, what's my greatest fear? And which I think is a universal fear, which is annihilation. And by that I meant ceasing to have a sense of consciousness or identity, that no matter that point of consciousness that I can call me, that I can say this is me and that is that, and that's you, like completely ceasing to exist.
That's a big one.
Would I go there? And I realized the answer was yes.
Yeah. Wow. That's huge.
You couldn't come up with something better than that?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't go any deeper than that. I don't know where else to go from there.
Yeah. I remember going through a process of my own very similarly. And my conclusion was the same. And so it sounds like a lot of us have had very, very similar and very unique awakenings. And the Mayan calendar was a huge one for me, too. That was one of the very first triggers for me way back. And then it just spreads out to a million different places. And all still comes back to a center. So it's been a crazy, wonderful ride. Thank you for sharing that with us. You guys ready to take another phone call?
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Here we go. Area code 561.
California somewhere.
Oh, area code 561. Hello?
This is me again. Hello, this is Jerry calling.
Oh, Katie, I got you again?
No, it's Jerry.
No.
Oh, hi,
Jerry.
Jerry. Hi.
Jerry. Hi there.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi there. I really want to congratulate Judy, first of all, having her own show. It's like really brilliant and so enterprising and so good. The subject is what could be better than what gives you joy. So let's just live in joy.
Yay.
Touche.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you for being here tonight, too. Or
I
this
had
morning.
thought, I'm so excited for you that you're doing this. I'm just so excited that, you're here and you're in. The more of us that spread this wonderful feeling, the more other people are just going to have to start to feel it, because they can't help it, can they?
It's exploding.
Exploding.
All of that joy,
I feel
whether you
good.
like it or not.
That's awesome.
Is this Jerry's poems by Jerry?
Yes.
Oh.
That's
Jerry Jones, right?
Oh yes,
Jerry
that's
Jones.
me. That's me. I was gonna spare you any questions, right? But I'm gonna have to write a funny one. I'm gonna have to write you a funny one first. Thank you.
You know
Thank
what?
you.
Yeah, write us one, or write one, or bring one to us next week if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to write something about joy. I mean, one of the ones I already have is it was inspired by Louise Hay, because she always says, I love life and life loves me. So I started the poem with that. I love life and life loves me. It's all about good feeling, you see. I feel good in heart and spirit and mind, and to me good things their way will find. I love friends and places and things. Love makes joy and gives me wings to fly to freedom and to help mankind, and this all gives me peace of mind.
I love it.
So
thank you. Thank you.
It's just so good. It's so good that this sort of radio show is on the airwaves. It's got to penetrate the humanity in time, hasn't it? It's got to people have got to just keep feeling it more. So,
well, they say that misery loves company, but for those who want to be in misery, will not find much company for much longer, I don't think.
No, and the energy of the heart is so much more powerful than anything else, and it does penetrate all matter instantaneously. It's like the speed of it's way faster than the speed of light, from what I understand. It's instantaneous. So here we go. We are making a difference.
Let's have joy.
Did you have anything else to add,
well,
Jerry?
Just a quick thing. What gives me joy? Well, one thing is to see other people helping each other, and other people having great experiences, and really, like, this what gives me joy, seeing you have this show. People taking big steps and doing things they love, and for me, the biggest joy is not to have somebody to boss me, because I spent years being bossed. And it's about freedom, that there's nobody there to say, look, you can't do this, you can't do that, or you're stupid, or this is ridiculous. And if somebody asks you why you're doing that, you say, because I can.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
It's all about
that's a good one.
That's
a good one.
I spent years being told, Jerry, run, jump, hop, skip, do this, do that. Where have you been? What have you been doing? All of that sort of thing. Now I manifested the opposite. I have somebody saying, Jerry, you're wonderful. I love you. I appreciate you. What would I do without you? And all of that. But I get to do it in my own time. I'm paid by these wonderful people. But, yeah, I have pretty much kind of free reign as to, when it's hot, I go out at 5 in the morning and I put the horses out and I clean them out, come back in for my breakfast, go back out, ride them, finish at 10:30, come back in, take a couple of hours break, go back out, look after them again. There's nobody to say, Jerry, where are you? What are you doing, or why? I'm just doing it. Whereas I spent the rest of my previous life doing run, hop, skip, jump, Jerry. Where are you? What are you doing? And freedom for me is what all humanity deserves. Everybody deserves to have freedom in their own right to do their own thing without criticism, without judgment. Just do your thing, be you. And that is really my message, because I've seen the other side of it, and I know what it's like to be held and just restricted and restrained. And I obviously had to learn that lesson, because I was like I am now when I was a kid and a teenager. Then I was this squashed person, and then I popped out of it, and I'm saying, oh, I'm not going back there now, guys. We're all getting out of this. So I'm here to help everybody free themselves. That's my.
Awesome.
It's like we've come out of a space of having to justify
Mm-hmm.
our very existence, and justify our doing, and justify our time, and we're over it.
Yeah.
Well, she struck a really strong chord, because we talked about this for anybody that wasn't listening to our Blog Talk Radio show from last night. We talked about this very thing is that, when people are telling you what to do, whether it be some boss, some system, some hierarchical system of control or whatever it might be, the government, part of it, actually most of it, if not all of it, all revolves around willingness to consent to said control. And, to not consent is always a choice. Now, whether there's ramifications to saying, no, I do not consent, is beside the point. Because if you stand in your truth and you say, you know what, I'm just done playing this game, whether it's my parents, whether it's my boss, whether it's the IRS, whatever it is, and if there's whatever that comes my way as a result of it, I will face that when it comes. But I'm going to play by my own rules now. I'm going to go play my own game. And if people want to come with me, great, but this is who I be, this is where I stand, this is where I get my most joy, and so be it, because that's the way that it is, and that's the power that everybody has. It's just whether or not they realize and pay conscious recognition of knowing it or not.
Right. And we just do no harm to others, and then all we need is common sense, common courtesy, common law. Done. Easy. No laws. That's all we need. If we could all live
Jerry for president. Jerry for president. I'll vote for you.
somebody potential put on.
I could see her campaign speech. It'd be like the most awesome poem, like up on the stand. This is what I'm gonna do, poem, and I would vote for you. Freedom Party.
Freedom Party. Freedom reigns. Go for it, everyone.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you so much. Good job, everybody. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thank you, darling. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jerry.
Take care. Talk to you. I'll keep listening. All right, then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Woo! Oh, my God, that was awesome. Such good things. How about we've got several, actually. Gosh, look at that. 74 people in the chat room. Thank you, everyone. Let's see here. We've got area code 336. Let me pull you on. Here. Hello? Caller?
Hello.
Hello. Who are we talking to?
This is Randy from North Carolina.
Hey, Randy from North Carolina. How are you?
Randy.
I'm great.
Hey.
Congratulations.
We know Randy.
Yeah,
hey,
we know Randy. Randy last night. That was so funny. And then you and Lisa both said his name from your own viewpoints of it. It was too funny.
Oh, yeah.
Randy.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that I chose to be a Southerner in my awakening experience because I think people hear my accent and automatically think this is a dumb, stupid little fella here.
I mean, I'm calling you Jerry already. Randy, I actually grew up in Southern Illinois. And
oh, did you?
Oh, yeah. And my accent was not far off from yours, hon.
There it is.
I hear you're changing just talking to me.
Actually, Randy, you remind me of Daniel Brinkley, who's also a Southern boy. And one very enlightened dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Randy already has fans of his accent in the chat room as well. Randy, are you a single man?
I am. I am
you hear that
single.
chat room? So, what were you going to say, Randy?
The Enjoy Dating service is going to be.
I was going to say I congratulate you on your new show, and I just wanted to speak up and say that I am so happy that you guys are on a third show because it's like Monday and Tuesdays are the greatest nights, and now Wednesdays added to it is just phenomenal.
Awesome. Thank you. This is going to be so much fun. I'm already having a blast.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you. So tell us what brings you the most joy.
Well, what brings me the most joy? I tell you what, right now I'm just the simple things in life. Just feeding the birds, being outside and messing with the plants. I mean, it's just the simple things bring me joy. used to, I would think that having money and all the material things were what made people happy, and I finally realized, you know what? Those people aren't happy at all. As a matter of fact, they're jealous of me because I am happy because I don't have anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
And I don't want anybody to be jealous, but at the same time, when you're seeking, when you're searching, soul searching, and you can't find it, you have no choice. And when you find your joy and people realize you've found it, it's almost like finding, like the scripture says, the pearl in the field. I mean, when you find that pearl of joy and nobody can take it from you, I'm telling you what, that's the greatest treasure.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that, I think that a lot of people, again, it goes back to the conditioning. You're going to hear me say that word a lot. But, back to the conditioning that, people have been taught that this facade of a reality around us is actually the only way it could be. Because, it's become what it is throughout generations, and it's just like, this is the way it is, people. Well, guess what? It's not. It's a choice, and we're changing it now in a major way.
Realizing that we've been lied to all of our lives and then finding out the truth has been such a release off my shoulders, like the weight lifted off my shoulders. And it's amazing just how life is just, when you realize the animals don't have to pay to live anywhere, they don't have to pay to eat. Why should we?
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. And the animals are so... I had a little dog. I had a black lab, and my neighbor, for some reason, hated this dog, and he ended up killing it. He murdered my dog. And I've had a little bit of resentment in my heart for that, but he did what he had to do. He felt like he had to do, and I miss my dog. I really do, and I'm looking for another dog. But it's really amazing that people feel that way, that they have no empathy or I don't understand that.
It's really sad, isn't it? It's just incredibly sad that people feel so, and nobody does anything outwardly that they don't feel for themselves first. So,
exactly.
you got to know that whatever's going on inside somebody who can do that is really a sad thing. And
I think now, is.
Yeah, I think now's the time for us to kind of let go of all of the revenge and vengeance and judgments and all of that stuff, and start really seeing what's going on in the deepest parts of people and doing what we can to to help them come out of that in a loving, caring, nurturing way. And sometimes it's just by being who we are. So, yeah, I'm really sorry about your dog. But, I love the way that you see this. So it's really...
Well, I love you guys, and I thank you for taking my call, and I enjoyed being on the first show. Look forward to many more.
Thank you so much for being here, Randy. Take care. Talk to you again.
Thank you, Randy.
Okay.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Okay. So this is going pretty good, huh?
I'm having fun. I love listening to people tell their stories of what brings them joy. I think it's awesome.
Too cool. Okay, we've got another caller. Might as well take it, huh?
Yep.
Well, also, if anybody's in Randy's neck of the woods and knows of a dog in need of care.
Ooh, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, great thing.
Where's Randy located again?
North Carolina or South Carolina? Which is it, Randy?
North
Carolina.
South Carolina.
Who just did that?
That was me.
That was good.
It was Lisa.
That was really good. So, yeah, if anybody knows, Randy, if you're on the chat, can you just put where you are so that maybe if somebody knows of a dog that might be meant to live with you, that they can let you know. All right, cool. So let's go to our next caller, and this one will be, let me see here. I don't think I've taken this one yet. Okay.
Hold on, wait a second. While you do that real quick, Hope Essential asking Brian, do you ever have a shirt on? What?
Oh.
Where?
Because your photo for the
Yeah.
show has you shirtless.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you for that, Judy.
I didn't do that. That's Barbara. I want mine changed too.
Thank you. I'm going to take the time right now to thank you.
She's been amazing and helpful, and she's been so incredibly helpful. Definitely a shout out to Barbara from New York for everything that you've done to help me get through all of this. While Lisa and all of them were in Morocco. A little bit of a jealous seed over here, but
you were there too.
No, I'm going to go there. I'm definitely going there, and I have been there, as you know.
I actually want to blow Barbara's horn as well, because she won't blow her own. And so much of what goes on behind the scenes with the 5D Media Network, whether it's Blog Talk or the website or Facebook, it's all Barbara's doing. And it wouldn't be what it is without her.
Absolutely. So, I couldn't have done this without her. She's been a huge help getting this whole thing.
She does it all for nothing in return of gratitude. So
yeah. So much gratitude and love sent out to Barbara, everybody. Send it all out there, please.
We love you, Barbara.
We love you, Barbara.
Lisa, come on. With that silly voice of yours. All right, go ahead. You got a caller?
I have, got a couple more here. So let's do this one. The next one in line is area code. Oh, there's no area code. There's a name now.
Stefan.
So that happens too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Stefan. So there's Stefan. Let's go to Stefan. Let me pull you up there, Stefan.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Stefan.
Hi,
how are
Stefan.
you?
Stefan from Melbourne, isn't it?
Yes, it's me. I'm back. I called into the Collective Imagination show yesterday, and I listen to all of the shows. I'm with you guys all the time. Joy. What an awesome subject. So, what brings me joy is so many things, right? I mean, come on, eating food or breathing the air or drinking water, right? But yeah, people seem to be tapping into the whole synchronicity thing, and a good little device I've come across is I guess finding your own little some little nugget that appears, that pops up, in your bubble or whatever you want to call it, maybe on at a certain time, or you just happen to notice this thing. And for me, I've picked up on Jupiter and the aspects of Jupiter. And it could be anything. Anybody could use anything, right? But because anything will connect you back to any other thing. So, but the cool thing with Jupiter is the word joy from an etymological aspect is actually derived from Jove, being jovial, and which is Jupiter. That's Jupiter's one of Jupiter's names. So, and if you can, it's one of those things. It's entrainment, right? You get onto the Jupiter bandwagon, and you'll start seeing this thing just more frequently, and it'll just these little winks start appearing within your environment, and you have these little aha moments, which is another one of those joy-bringing experiences that we all know, whether it's finding a nugget of data or just that aha, something, that connection is made, and you're there with it.
Falls into place.
Hey,
yeah.
Stefan, I think you've got all the
Lisa.
ladies in the chat room swooning.
Yeah, he's got some fans too. Let's just.
They're loving your voice. I think you could recite the phone book and have them dueling.
Vibration. Hey, Sandy, come on.
And Stefan, actually, I in my birth chart in the same place as my sun sign. So I was born under a strong influence of Jupiter. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh, you can go so deep with it.
What's that?
Yeah, it's an awesome symbol. The planet itself, it's like the gas giant.
Uh-oh.
What was that?
Anybody know
Its movement. It's Jupiter. Yeah, crazy, huh?
Yeah, that was weird. Did you just?
That was the harp. Just occasionally does its own thing. An actual harp. So Jupiter, awesome stuff. Pick your own thing. You know, everybody's on the 11-11 thing, and that's an awesome thing. You know, it's the same kind of thing. But from me personally, a lot of joy has come from like this. You know, it's basically like developing your own belief system, you know, which is what everybody does at the end of the day, you know, and you can just tweak it, whatever, and then when it doesn't serve you, get rid of it, make another one, whatever. Very convenient, and there's many symbols and objects around you that you can use for this purpose, definitely.
So you're talking about following synchronicities, and really being able to understand when you're seeing them. You know, being able to go, there's another one, and there's another one, and the little gift.
Yes, and these breadcrumbs, I feel for me personally, really, I can only give my experience, but what those breadcrumbs are going to lead you to are more breadcrumbs, and but the sync factor, when you can isolate it to like these apparent single objects or other things, right? But it's the real aha is that everything is synced up all the time. I mean,
yes,
you know,
we just hear ourselves through it.
Yeah, I mean, syncing with some frequency. Everybody listening is understanding the words that are coming out. All the cells in your body totally synced up. Everything is synced. So the realization of sync itself actually totally destroys sync. It's like it's another one of those things that just is. It's just another aspect or element. So it's kind of It'd actually be more notable to show where synchronicity is not occurring.
Right. That's true.
So it's pretty awesome tool. Pretty awesome tool. Yeah, I love it, and it brings a lot of joy, definitely, no doubt. So go for it.
Speaking of synchronicities, though, Barbara does do a little show called Cool Coincidence that goes for about 15-20 minutes. She uploads them pre-recorded to 5D. And for those who want to become more conscious and aware of the synchronicities and stuff, it's a great show. Go and check it out, because Barbara is the queen of synchronicities.
Cool.
This woman sees them where no one else does. But when you follow along with her, it really does open you up, and you start to see them in your own life. So it's fun.
Oh, that's good information. Yep. Thank you. I wish I had a link right now, but I'm afraid to get off of here right now.
I might put it in the chat room.
Thanks.
That show's on 5D as well, right?
Yes.
That's
you can always go to 5dmedianetwork.com and look at all the archives of all the shows.
Cool. Thank you.
Coincidence.
And thank you, Stefan. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, that's it. Just wanted to share. Thank you again, and much love from here. And I'm sure,
just start reading the directory, and we'll sit back and listen.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Boom.
Thank you, Stefan. Appreciate you calling in.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Okay, now I got a caller from an area code I'm very familiar with, 618. Let's see who this is. This should be fun. Area code 618. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
That was seductive. Hello.
I'm so excited. I can't hardly stand it.
Oh, okay. Is this you, Lisa?
This is yes. This is me. Hi.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Oh,
you sound wonderful.
Oh, thank you, honey. Lisa,
I call her storms here.
What's that?
We're getting storms here back home.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we had them flowing through here a couple of times today, but it's kind of calm out there right now. Lisa her name is Alyssa, and I call her Liz, but everybody else calls her Lisa. Is a friend of mine that I actually met through Facebook, but she's from my hometown, and we've met in person a few times, several times actually over the last couple of years. And it's one of those incidents where you meet somebody on Facebook and you get a real strong sense of who they are, and when you meet them in person, they're exactly that. Don't you just love that? So what do you think? What do you think about this, Lisa? And what brings you your highest joy?
What brings me my highest joy? Well, kind of like what everybody else has said. But, Judy likes to say that she tells me that she cannot believe that I am the way I am from the area that we were brought up in. Mm-hmm. And, very closed-minded for the most part. Southern. You wouldn't think that Illinois would be considered Southern, but it's very Southern.
The southern part of it is.
Yes. Yeah. And, I don't know. We've talked a lot in person and on the phone, and we've had a lot of similar upbringing and a lot of similar thoughts about our upbringing. But for me, meeting Judy on Facebook a few years ago, I thought she was, she's pretty and she's smart, and I really like her, and I really like the vibe that she puts up. Well, when I got to know her better, and she really has so much to give. She has shared her wisdom with me and helped me through a time in my life, a big transition. And mostly what she told me was live your truth. And, I had not been very aware of all these things before. I was too much living in the world without living in my head and in the world without knowing these higher thoughts. And Judy has really turned me on to the higher thought process and has showed me how to let go of, I don't even know how to explain it, worldly problems and thoughts and negativity. And
limits?
I tell you what, it's life-changing. It's, she helped me in that time when things were crazy for me, and other people were telling me, actually, they were telling me to lie. And they thought that was the way to go, and it wasn't. When I did live in the truth of the moment, everything worked out. So, I don't know what else I can say.
Thank you, darling.
Hey, before you go, hey, Lisa.
Yes.
Which one?
I just want to see who would answer. Sorry, go ahead.
But Judy's a joy, and she's bringing her joy to other people, and I couldn't be more happy and more proud. And actually, the computer is popping on and off because of this storm, and I think that's so ironic. But I'm downloading it so I can listen to it again. And I just wanted to wish her all the best, and I love you, and have a wonderful, wonderful time.
Thank you so much, Liz. Love you, too. I'm so glad you called in.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're awesome, darling.
All right.
Talk to you
nice to meet you, Lisa.
Bye-bye.
Oops. Did that
You just cut off your friend.
I did.
Yes, it happens. It happens.
I taught her how to let go already. She'll be fine.
Practicing the art of forgiveness. Go.
Just letting go. So you guys have been kind of like hanging in the back. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up right now?
There is a point that Lisa just brought up.
Okay.
About being honest as opposed to lying.
Yes.
And those of us who came back from Morocco we all came back changed. There's no question.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all had varying degrees of difficulty or ease, whichever way you want to look at it, sharing how those changes took place, what's triggered them, what the results are. But we've all come from a place of being very transparent with everybody. And just from my own personal experience, I've been 100% transparent. And it has been one of the most liberating, expanding, fulfilling, joyful places to be. And no matter how vulnerable it makes you, no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter how others react, because you've got no control over that, but being transparent is the only way to go. With what you're thinking, with what you're feeling.
Absolutely. It's the only way. I've never really had much of a choice, although I really tried hard to be a good liar when I was younger, because it kind of was the thing to do. And everywhere I looked, it's what people did, and I always sucked at it because I was never given a good memory. It was like one of those things that was set up early on before I even got here, I'm sure. That was like, yeah, girlfriend, you're going to try, but you're going to fail. You're going to suck at this.
But even if you've never tried to consciously lie, we all do it in the sense that we hold back because we don't want to hurt somebody else, or we tell them 80% because we're scared of their reaction. Even that is a form of lying.
Yeah, you're right.
I think when you stand in your truth in full transparency and you have nothing to hide, it's just about the most liberating feeling ever. And I think that's pretty indicative of where we are. I mean, one of the things that's happening on such a massive, I would say global, if not limiting it to really universal, one thing that's happening so common is that people are finding that it's becoming more and more difficult, if not borderline impossible, to not stand in their truth and be transparent. And this is happening with people that, say somebody, for example, is in a job that they can't stand. You know that the time clock is ticking for a lot of those people, that they aren't going to be able to hide the fact that they can't stand their job any longer. So you have all these people right now, myself included, that are leaving jobs that they can't stand.
Right.
Or it's happening with relationships that aren't working out. Partners letting the other know, this is what's going on with me. This isn't working for me. It's no longer serving me. It's time for me to move on. And I think that the closer we get to everything that's really just already happening, the more that's going to we talked about this a little bit on the show last night, the more that transparency is going to rear its head. I'd say ugly head, but it's not. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it allows everything to be out in the open, to be evaluated, to be felt, to be understood, to be shared, and people can find common ground on when you put everything out on the table. The only reason people don't is because out of fear, what the response is going to be from another, what it's going to mean for their stability, for their security, for their well-being, for their peace of mind. But what you realize is when you just do it and you let it all go, you get more of a sense of stability and peace of mind than you've ever had before. And people are that's beginning to bubble to the surface, whether people realize it or not. So why not embrace it now?
Yep. Yeah, no, truth is it's been coming on this way for a while. I've felt it for a while, where truth can no longer be hidden, but it's as if the vibrations are so fast and so strong right now that anything that is staying hidden in each one of us is coming to the surface to be shown and to be set free, actually.
Yes.
I've been saying for years that light will be shone in all the dark. The phrase that came to me years ago.
Ooh, that's awesome.
And we've been seeing that for the last 12 months, politically, with the governments, with the corporations, with the banking system. All of that is starting to be exposed. And for a lot of people, they see that as a bad thing in the sense of it makes it look like the world is getting worse. Mm-hmm. Whereas to me, it looks like the world is getting better because all of this stuff is just being brought out to light and it's being exposed. And that goes for us on a personal level too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's happening within us.
Because energies that are stuck, in order for them to be released, they have to be purged. I mean, even when we were out in the desert, any of us, which was all of us really, that had stuff that we needed to work on, at one point or another throughout the course of that 3 weeks or month that everybody was out there, it came up. And it was noticeable for everybody when it did. And it was such a beautiful thing because the last night before we were there was the moment where it all got reconciled, and everybody was able to, it was almost like a sense of congratulating everybody else at one point for dealing with whatever it was that they needed to deal with. And that is I don't want to say small example, but an example on a smaller scale that is an illustration of what's going on at large everywhere. So for those people that are holding on to those things, they might be things that they're holding back in any part of your life. If there's any message right now, as far as humanity is concerned, is don't be afraid to let that release, because once it finally does, it's like a huge 800-pound gorilla that jumps off of your back, and it's just like a sense of when you actually let it go. So releasing the fear that's around it is usually the biggest hurdle, and when you do, and it comes out, you realize that the idea that you had, the fear that you had, the false expectations appearing real, as an acronym for fear, is never as bad as you imagined it to be during that time. Because fear is all fear is your emotions that are caught in some future moment. And anytime that we ever have fear about a thing and then we're actually in the middle of it, we always have that recognition, wow, this isn't as bad as I actually thought it was going to be. And it never usually is.
True. That is so true. Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's also, it's a gateway to joy. When you let go of things, you make room for the love to really expand in who you are and outwardly, and that is joy. That brings joy. You cannot help but have joy when you've got that going on. But it does take some letting go along the way, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to, Judy, I don't know if there's any more callers, but do you want to go back and do that quote thing that you had? Because I have a great quote.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't we pull yours in? I'll be surprised this time. I've got one, but I can use it next time, or I can get it.
Well, it's so perfect for this conversation, and anybody that's my friend on Facebook is already, I post quotes, I don't know, pretty frequently on Facebook, and some of them, get a lot of response and others don't. But this one, I just posted it last night during our radio show, and it already has over 100 likes on it because I know that it's resonating with so many people. So anybody that's my friend on Facebook, this is going to be redundant, but it'll make for really good dialogue because it's so true. And the quote is, my happiness can be interchanged with joy. My happiness is my responsibility. Therefore, you're off the hook. And I don't know if that was exactly the exact quote, but that's the idea. Is that we as a species, we've made such a habit over giving our joy and giving our happiness away to others, which is a choice, which says my happiness is dependent upon how this person, what they say, what they do, how they react to something. And so when you give that away to somebody else, that has absolutely nothing to do with that other person. It has everything to do with you. So when you can stand in your space of joy, when you can stand in your space of happiness and say and affirm to yourself, man, I'm going to feel good no matter what anybody says or what anybody does to me all the time. Just think about that. Think about how empowering of a choice that is, where you cannot be shaken, you cannot be moved. It's a lot easier said than done, I realize, but when you feel it, when you can actually have a taste of how empowering that is, you are bulletproof, because it doesn't matter what anybody says or does, no matter what. You can stand in that space and say, I'm not going to allow anybody the opportunity to take that away from me because it's mine. And boy, oh my gosh, when we talked about that last night, on the radio show, I realized that, especially coming back from the desert, and even before then, I realized that if there's one thing that maybe I'm a little bit better at than some others, that's probably one of those things, because it's funny because I'm one of those people. I don't want to sound braggadocious when I say that I'm happy pretty much all the time. I really am. There's not a whole lot where, even Brittany, my fiance, she could probably on one hand count the amount of times in our time knowing each other that she's seen me sad or depressed, or have had my feelings hurt, or hold a grudge or be angry. And these emotions when they come up, it's not that they come up and that they need to be judged. Feel the way that you're feeling, right? Don't discount your feelings. That's a really important thing. If you feel something and it comes up, it means you're feeling it for a reason. So don't try to shut it and pretend that it doesn't exist. Feel it. But the key is to bounce back to your joy in shorter intervals. When something can happen and it affects you emotionally and you feel it, right? And you let yourself process it, but bounce back to that joy. And the difference, the way that you know as a person how fast you're making progress, is the amount of time it takes you to bounce back into that state of peace and balance. And I thought, man, it's so empowering to be able to actually live that. And, the topic of being and joy, what a perfect quote to be able to share, because it's something I really wish people take a look at and start to apply more in their life, because there's all too many times where a husband gives away that power to a wife gives away that power to a husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, best friend, whatever it might be. Take it back. It's not yours to give away. I mean, it's yours to give away. It's not theirs to take. Hold that. Live it.
Well, yay. I agree.
And number two.
And many of my friends would probably say that that I'm like right there too. It's for quite some time now. I mean, since I let that go, 10 years ago, it was just like, oh my God, that's too heavy to carry. My joy is mine. Your joy is yours. I'm not going to get into your stuff. If you want me to help you, I'll be happy to talk you through some stuff if you're willing to listen and learn or whatever. And same thing with me. But yeah, our joy is ours.
Any follow-up comments on that quote for Lisa or Judy, life experiences that you'd like to share?
Well, when I first came across that quote years ago, I applied it to my immediate environment and those in my sphere. But over the last 12 to 18 months, it's been about the bigger picture. It's been about the government. It's been about the cabal. It's been about the matrix. It's been about the structure. It's like the same thing applies to them, and I don't have to buy into any of it, and I don't have to let a letter in the mail change who I am and how I be. An order, in inverted commas, from some external source about how I'm supposed to behave. So, yeah, my happiness is completely up to me. And everybody else is off the hook, and I don't care who they are.
Exactly. In all situations, like you said, I mean, it's, the whole, excuse me, the whole, exposing all of the wrongs that are going on all around us. I think that we all go through that. I think we have to all go through that at some point, and through whatever it is that we need to do, it's just important not to get stuck there. And I'm at a place right now where I see it and it just moves right past me. I don't allow it in. I celebrate the wins, but I don't feed my energy to the negatives right now. It's not that I'm judging anybody for doing it. It's just that it's not right for me, because I know the times that I've actually done that, I've posted something on Facebook that it's like, look what so-and-so is doing, or they're coming to get us or whatever. I literally continue to have this feeling inside of me that says, oh, that does not feel right, until I go back and take it off, and then I'm fine. it's interesting how we move through these different phases that we go through. And I don't think there's any set prescription as to how long any one of them will last for any given person. I think everybody has their own way and their own
process.
pathway. Thank you, process. That's good too.
Yeah, usually what it takes too with this, Judy, is it takes an experience where, to fully wake up to this truth, it takes an experience where you give your joy, and you give somebody in your life way too much power and control over your state of being. And through that adversity of totally giving it all away, you wake up to realizing it doesn't need to be that way. So true is how that is in life on with almost every lesson. You have to go through the process of let's just call it learning it the hard way, and that's the best way to learn, because you have recall at that point. You think back and you go, yes, I remember that time, and I'm not going to do it that way anymore. I do not consent. Here's this new way, and it's gonna in a lot of cases, a lot of people go through the experience where it catches that's so used to having that power over you totally off guard, and a lot of times that will change them and the way they deal with you, and knowing that you've now overcome it and they can grow through it also. Right.
Brian, I've got another caller waiting. I'd like to take two, and before I do that, so hold on, caller, I see you, area code 215, I'll get you in just a second. I want to give a little shout-out to a dear friend of mine that I see in the chat room that I've known since I was 16 years old, and she's been one of my absolute best friends for all these years, and we've been through so much together. And I just want to say hi. So, hi, Gay. You're a doll, and I love you for being here and supporting me, and for all that you've done all this time. She was her house that I was at with her husband, who was the New Awakening guy, and that we played with the fire and all of that I told you guys about, if you remember. Anyway, let me go ahead and take this call. Area code 251. Hello?
It was 205.
205.
Oh, okay. Let me go to that one then. Oh, let me get off that one. Area code 205. Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Who do we have here?
Hi. This is Jennifer Williams in Birmingham, Alabama.
Hi, Jennifer Williams in Birmingham, Alabama. Welcome to Enjoy. How's it going?
It's going so awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm another one of the listeners who listens to everybody every time and has from day one. So let me just put that out there. Thank you so much for being who you are and doing what you do. It's really great to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. What day was day one? I'm just curious, because day one is a different day for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, I consider sort of this group, day one, to be Christmas Day, when I first saw, or I actually think it was the 26th, when I saw on American Kabuki the announcement of the OPPT.
Okay.
And that day, when I read that document, I cried. And I looked at my best friend and I said, oh, my God, I've always known this. I've always known this, and somebody has said it. And they've printed it out, and they have put it out there in a way that so many people are going to get. I just get this. And I cried, and I followed, and I listened to, I started with, like Lisa was saying earlier, Terry Cassidy, and being on a conspiracy journey of just because I know that this is not right. I'm an RN myself. I'm a nurse. I've been a hospice nurse. I've done a lot of different things. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the 90s. I lived in Nepal for a little while. And I've seen a lot of different things myself. And joy is the thing that I always knew was the thing we needed to chase, or that we needed to be trying to bring to anybody that we were coming into contact with, because that was going to be the thing that multiplied anything good.
Yep. Yeah.
Or so it
Yep.
was looking to me. But there is a part to this conversation that I wanted to add from another tagline that that Lisa said earlier as well, having to do with the chaos that we're going through. And an analogy that I've sort of used internally, and I have a couple of friends that I'm able to talk about this with, and I brought it up to them, and they see it as well, and that is, I don't know if you guys are, I think you probably are, familiar with cymatics?
Yes. Water?
Yep. A little bit.
Or sand or whatever. Sound waves, right?
Exactly. And the most profound example that I saw, I mean, there's a few with liquids and things, but the one that I saw that really opened me up was the one where someone has a metal plate on that, sound speaker amplifier device, and it's just got the white sand on it, and it's a dark-colored plate. And if they turn up the frequency on the thing, then every time they go an octave, what happens is the sand dances. It dances onto the plate into an organized pattern that's really beautiful.
Right.
And as they turn up the frequency, the dancing continues. But when they reach that octave and it goes up to the next octave, there's this instant of chaos before it reorganizes into something more organized and more complex and more beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And that vibrates
It's just an instant.
all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chaos is just an instant. And that's the way I've always felt this. Now then, where you have to layer over that is, okay, well, what is an instant? Is it an instant? And so we in our 3D think of it. Or is an instant 3 years? Or is an instant 30 years? Or is an instant, what is it? And is it different for every individual? Or, as we are all one, is it an instant? And it's a question that I just love to ponder. And when I think about where we are and that we are in chaos, it feels to me as though it is exponentially ramping up to a 0 point, and that instant will be an instant. And the question will be, just what will it all look like on the other side? And Chris touched on it last night when he said, we can't recognize it from our way of thinking. And that's another line of thinking that I've always held since I was young. Just, whatever it is, heaven, when you're having a conversation with somebody about, life after death, which being a hospice nurse, I had, daily with people. And I think that's part of who I am and why I'm supposed to be here. And speaking of healing centers, help me with some energy, even in thought and whatever. I have a very dear friend that has access to a beautiful old antebellum home here in Birmingham, and his dream for it is to turn it into a consciousness clubhouse. Now then,
that's awesome.
Jennifer, you couldn't possibly know how everything you've brought up, how relevant everything you've brought up is to a conversation that Brian and I were a part of this morning. It's the synchronicity of that.
Oh yeah.
Of course I could.
I was thinking the same thing.
Let me layer one more thing onto that synchronicity that I think will give you a little chill. And that's just thinking about where this is, where Birmingham, Alabama is. It was the hotbed of civil rights, and where people think of, things that were bad about being a person and the way we treated each other and things of that nature. And I myself am from a small county in the north part of the state. Are you still there?
Yeah, you're kind of fading out a little bit. I don't know if you can get a little closer to your mic or not.
I actually am, but I had, it looks like I'm on the telephone, so it looks like I was trying to get a call and I was trying to decline it. Sorry about that.
That's okay. You're good.
I'm actually from a small county in north central Alabama called Winston County. And interestingly enough, Winston County, when the Americans were divided in the Civil War, the Confederate States seceded from the northern states. And in that process, there was one little patch of people in this area that was Alabama that said, wait a minute, we are just the souls of the people who came over, because we wanted to escape all this imposition of authority, whatever it be, from a banker, be it from a king. what's the difference, really? And they were Winston County. They were the free state of Winston, and they seceded from both sides. And they stood their ground, and they were free. And they paid, huge prices. The Confederate soldiers were like, fuck you, how dare you? You're a part of us. You're here with us. And it was like, we're just poor white country folk. We don't own slaves. We just live on the land. And
but it's what, Jennifer, it's like another kind of Phoenix Rising area. The vortex has already been opened. It sounds wonderful.
Absolutely. And it feels that way. And it's interesting because I have been the whole time, this whole 6 months, because that's sort of the starting point of this conversation that involves the four of us and these guys who called in, Randy and Stefan and everybody else, Jerry. It's this last 6 months. It's an example of the exponentiation process. As I've beat my head against the wall trying to explain to people for years too. Is that they're like, why do you always keep saying that it's about to happen?
I think we've all been through that.
And so that's so gone. I'm so let go of that. Just let you know. None of that.
Feels good, doesn't it?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it totally does. It
awesome,
feels awesome.
Jennifer. Thank you so much for sharing that, and we should definitely get you in touch. Somehow we need to get in touch with you to find out, more about this center and have anybody else who's interested in that.
Let me also add one more layer to that before I let you guys go back with it, because I want to keep listening.
Okay, I've got one more caller, and I think we've got time, so go ahead.
Absolutely. I sure do want to hear that person, too. In addition to my friend who has this house that, by the way, if you went to the clubhouse on Highland, if you just Googled that, okay, you would see the house. And he uses it to rent out weddings and things to sustain the place now. But his dream is he's actually paraplegic, and his name is Bob. And he probably could walk again, just like another Bob we know. There's all these synchronicities, you guys. I'm all over the place.
Wow.
That's really wild. I wrote that down.
But that's not it. Let me tell you there's more before you let me go, and I will.
Okay.
But I've also had for the last 6 months the really profound sort of synchronistic opportunity to study Tai Chi with a 32nd degree Kung Fu master from the Shaolin Temple in China. Yeah. And he studied there for 10 years, from the time he was 8 till the time he was 18. Like, he's not your average, monk and Kung Fu master. And he's 30 years old now, and the only reason that I have this access is because he happens to be the son-in-law of my best friend. And he lives with me part-time, and he lives with Bob in the wheelchair part-time, and he assists Bob there at the house because Bob needs an extra hand because he's one guy trying to run this house, and he needs help, and I'm trying to awaken him. And he's been awake after his injury, but he's still a little asleep. You guys know what I mean. He's a little nervous about the fact that I quit paying my house payment 6 months ago. I mean, you guys, I was one of these people with, with great credit. Like, in December, I could have bought anything I wanted on credit, okay? And in January, I just let it go. I held my breath for just long enough to let it go, and I let it go. And, I mean, the lights are on and stuff, of course, because people think when you let go that you're like, that it's like, no, I like the internet. Let's keep getting that bill. Yeah.
That's awesome, girl. Is there anything else that you wanted? I'm sorry, we just have like 20 minutes left, and I need to take one more phone call.
No problem. No,
that's it. Girl, thank you so much.
I will try to
Jennifer,
get in touch with you.
Jennifer, you have amazing energy.
And I've got the name too. The clubhouse on Highland.
There's a way we can do this all here too, all the different centers.
Absolutely.
So this is a center, and it's sitting here waiting for us to put energy in. So namaste, in Lakesh. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Love you too. Bye, darling.
Bye.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Okay, we've got area code 240. Let's see here.
Hey.
There you are. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
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 Hi,
Hey,
Olga.
Judy.
How are you, hon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. This is going really fun. I'm just having a great time. So thank you for joining us tonight. How cool. Well,
yes,
actually,
I'm doing a shout out to Maggie in North Carolina. Hi, Maggie. So, Judy, I wanted I wanted to say to you guys that I met Judy through Soul Journey at a time when I was seeking people like me, and I had found myself so isolated from everything. So I went on Meetup, looked for people, like-minded people, and I found her group. And that has led to so many beautiful connections and friendships. So I'm so excited that she has her show now, and it's called Enjoy. Great name, by the way. You did a great job with that.
Thank you, darling.
So,
yeah, and Olga and I are like soul sisters. It's really bizarre how parallel our lives are in so many ways. And so when things need to get worked out with either one of us, getting together on the phone, because she just moved to California. She's not too far from you, Brian. Well, she moved over a year ago. But anyway, when we need to work anything out, we just get on the phone with each other, and it's like bam, 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 the synchronicities work and wild, and everything falls into place, and it's just amazing and beautiful. And so thank you, my dear friend.
It's so exciting to be witnessing the growth, of the people around me, and then seeing these shows pop up and finding all these communities everywhere, all over the world, connected, because we all are connected. And to be talking about joy, I think, is the most important thing, because we could be focusing on, a million issues, and there are people, thankfully, doing that. But I think the more we focus on the positive end of things, love, joy, and spreading that message of truth, then the world will definitely be a better place much quicker.
What brings you joy? What brings you joy, Olga?
Oh, God. Honestly, I think the times that I feel the most joy is when I'm in nature and in the sun. When I'm looking at the sun, when I'm connecting with flowers and animals and plants and the ocean. It's where I'm able to surrender the most, and in that surrender is where I have found my joy. But
Wait,
those
we
connections
have all
are
those
made.
things in California?
Well, it's been a long journey for sure, but definitely since I moved here, something has happened. Definitely something has been going on, and it's happening quicker and quicker and quicker. So the connections are happening really fast. The understanding, the information is all becoming so available. Well, it's always available, but I'm becoming more aware, more awake. And it can be isolating at times, but it's all perspective, and I've learned that. So that's why these calls and these communities, these groups are so important, I think.
What I love about this more than anything is the community that's come up globally out of these shows, and how many of you have connected, online via Facebook or some other platform, and then how many of you again have taken the next step and met up in person. And I know thousands or tens of thousands of you feel that the people who tune into these shows and participate in the chat rooms are your family. And it's just, that brings me a great deal of joy. It's become a global community of people who just love and support one another. I love it.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. And it does feel like family. I know people who live in England and, 20 million places around the world, and I feel like I know them, and they are my family. They are my sisters, my brothers. So it's a really neat family to belong to. I love it.
I know that I could put a call. Any of us could put a call out to anywhere in the world and say, "Hey, I'm going to be so and so. I need a place to stay," and you'd get an offer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There are. I don't know about your blog site, Brian, but something like nearly 70 different countries visit my website. We are a global community. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much.
Love you, Olga. Thank you for calling, darling.
I think we've even started a few. You too, Olga. I think we've even started a few relationships since we.
Oh, I know there has. I know there has. Yes.
Well, look how much we could have made multiple connections between our callers in the chat room tonight. I mean, gosh, the opportunities are just endless.
By the way, Stefan, if you're single,
see what happens when joy is in the air.
Awesome.
Stefan, if you're single, what your number?
We're gonna see.
And you're too ready, actually.
There you go. Yeah, people are gonna be like posting phone numbers all over the chat room and hooking up. That did not sound right, but whatever.
No, it's okay. Just say it. Transparency, Judy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh my goodness. So I think we actually all of the callers with their hands up. We've got quite a few in here. But does anybody else want to say hello before our 15 minutes that is left? Or Brian and Lisa, would you like to say anything more?
Well, just to give them instructions, if you've called in, just press 1 to speak to the host if you want to call in.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Somebody can share a quote while we're waiting for other callers. I was the only one, so I'm feeling a little bit like, I don't think you guys need to share too.
Fine, so no, I'm good.
Let me find the quote. Oh goodness, I've like shuffled my papers around too many times. The quote that I wanted to do.
Judy, you keep track of quotes. I guess I always just assumed you made all your own originally.
Sometimes, but my problem is I have such a my memory is like a sieve. So things fall through it, and I'm not one of these people who can like tell you a quote verbatim. So I have to write it down. But the one that I did several times that I wanted to share tonight was by Anais Nin, and it's and the day came when the risk to remain tied in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. I love that one.
Can you say that one more time again? I was watching messages in the chat room.
Sure.
So I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Okay. And the day came when the risk to remain tied in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom.
Wow. That's a good one.
Yeah, and that's kind of where an awful lot of people are right now, and a whole lot of people have already blossomed, a whole lot. But there are many right now that are still tight in the bud because they're still buying into the system in ways, and they're going to find that the joy comes when we open up and blossom.
Yeah, it's funny that quote reminds me of the quote. I can't remember whose quote it is. It's the one that says a tree doesn't try to grow, it just grows. And that one was really powerful for me too when I first started. It's just like, we are a part of nature, right? Mm-hmm. And there's so many things that exist in nature that we could learn so much from. And when you look at nature and all the things that it does, when there's a rainstorm, and it rains all over the flowers, and the sun doesn't come out, and they don't get to open up to the sun or whatever, the flower doesn't pout and say, this whole thing just sucks, and I
don't love me anymore.
I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be a flower.
How do you know?
I want to be a tree. Maybe it does, but the next day, who knows? You could talk to them, I guess, if you want. I know I actually went to a conference to a woman who did tree talking, and that's a whole other side story, But isn't it such a great example of how easy life can be when we allow life to happen, as opposed to trying to control every element of it? It's just like, that's when you can get into that place, it's almost like it doesn't matter what comes along. You are so present and aware that you realize that every day can't be a sunny day. Just like every day isn't going to be a rainy day. Maybe unless you live in Seattle, then in which case most days are rainy days. But that's beside the point. The point is that the sun is going to shine eventually, and when you realize that the rainstorms are part of the process, and where in fact those rainstorms provide life and sustenance, I mean, how great of an example is that of life? It helps us to really understand that life is going to happen. Allow it to. Disappointment comes from soiled expectations and attachments to outcome. When you can set an intention and surrender the rest of the universe of how it's made manifest in your life, then things can come up, and you know that no matter what, if you believe that everything happens for a reason, then you realize that the adversity is a lesson and a teacher in disguise. So you could bottle yourself up and say, I just, don't want to be here anymore, and you could pout, or you can say, you know what is there to learn from this experience? What was this experience attracted to my life to teach me? Because ultimately, everything outside of us is a projection of what's happening within anyway. So you create your own reality, good, bad, indifferent. Those are all just judgments.
Absolutely. That is such an important message right there. You create your own reality, and you bring in what you put out. There was something else I wanted to say, and I've already forgotten it. So go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just in the middle of my third rant for the show, so.
Yeah, I totally just rudely interrupted.
That was it. That was it. It's just let life happen. Don't stop trying to control every aspect of your life so much. Plans are fine so long as they're fluid. It's when we start getting really rigid in our agenda of trying to control and maneuver every aspect of our lives that things start to get real dicey and not fun. And
well, who knows a control freak that's freaking out right now? I know a few.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Oh,
it's so good to not be there anymore. It is so incredibly wonderful. Like, even creating this show and leading up to it in the last couple of days. I mean, I made a few little notes here and there, but I had no idea what I was gonna do. And about maybe an hour before the show, I wrote like a little bit for the introduction and the kind of solidify it a little bit for me. But I also really very clearly got the message, sweetie, just go with it. Just go with it. Let it flow. It'll be okay.
I had no worries.
Good.
Which is funny
Judy,
because
you probably know we wing every show. So.
And I know, I love that. I admire that, and that's really how I live my life. So why change it for this? Why change it for anything? Because it really does work for me. It really works for me. I love my life. I love that it flows, and I love that new things happen all the time, and I don't have to plan everything out. I don't have to white knuckle anything. It's just let go and let flow. I know I keep saying that, but it is such a great little quote that I can actually remember.
Let go and let flow.
Let go
Absolutely.
and flow.
It's going on Brian's Facebook right now.
What?
Let go and let go.
Okay. Do I need to Facebook that? Done.
Yeah, this is like being on a wild whitewater trip, as a leaf, and we're floating down the center of this river, and it's getting wild and crazy right now. But this is the time to not try to grab for the sides or a branch, because you're just going to get beat up. You got to let go, and you got to throw your hands up and laugh and have a good time and enjoy the ride. This is going to be fun. This is fun.
It already is fun. Here's a deep question. Lisa's been hiding over there for the last few minutes. So Lisa, if you had any message to share with everybody right now, everything you've learned over the course of the last months and years of your life, what would that lesson be?
Oh my!
I was gonna ask you if you were a zoo animal, what you would be and why, but I thought this one would be a lot more fun and relevant.
Oh, okay.
That was heavy.
Yeah, no pressure. God, I don't have one other than live your own message. Be your own message. Live your own message.
That's a message in itself.
Yeah.
How does one do that?
Oh, Brian. I'm going to get Bill to slap you.
Hold on. I'm taking notes. Let me grab a pen. Okay, good. If you could do it in a step-by-step process, too, that would be great. Number one. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Number one.
Look, everybody wants it in the chat room. Do tell.
Do tell.
Yeah. Well, step one is always, first and foremost, slap Brian about the head. No matter what the question, the answer is slap Brian about the head.
Let me guess. Step two. Repeat step one.
Exactly.
Wait for 5 minutes when he thinks you're gone, and then do it again.
Do it again. Yeah, yeah. I tend to be a human punching bag at times. Yes. I've learned to embrace it. Let go and let flow.
Well, thank you for that wisdom. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was so profound, Lisa. Thank you. I'm going to ask the same question to Judy.
What's the question?
If there's one, okay, here, let me rephrase the question for you since this is your show. Since you're the lead host on this show.
Oh my God, that sounds so wild. Okay, go.
Okay. What message do you hope that this show imparts to humanity at this nexus point of our evolution?
Okay. I think that the main message I'd like for people to get, and I'm not so sure I haven't already said it, but is that letting go lets you flow. It's true. It's about just, surrender to the joy, surrender to the miracles that are all around us. They are everywhere, and they want you to see them. They want you to reach out and grab them. You're getting messages from beings that you can't see right now. They're what people called angels or your guides or your higher self. They're inside you. They're outside you. They're everywhere. They're showing up for you in everything around you. They want you to be happy. They want you to be the love that you are. So grab it. Just enjoy it. Flow with it.
Judy, we can't let Brian off the hook. Brian, what's the message for humanity at this time? Go.
3 minutes, Brian. Hurry.
How do you expect me to do this in 3 minutes? Lisa, we're going to have some serious talk after this. Some serious words.
You'll have to condense this rant.
I'm really scared.
Come on. I would say my message.
Ooh, serious voice and everything. Okay.
All right. Okay, I want everybody to pay attention to this because it's probably one of the most profound things out of my mouth. Okay? Grab your pen, Lisa.
Got it.
Judy.
I got it.
Pen.
Got it.
Pen up.
Got it.
Okay, this is going to take a while to spit out, but I know we only have 3 minutes.
No, you have
Here
like
it comes.
1.5.
Everybody in the chat room listening, stop typing for 1 minute. This is serious.
He's going to drag this out until it's done.
No, everyone. I know I only have 90 seconds. Okay, here it is.
Just breathe.
Don't forget to have fun.
How do you spell that?
Period. I believe it's kind of like fat, spelling fat with PH. You can spell it PHUN or just FUN, and that works as well. And I wouldn't be I would be not true to myself if I also said, in conjunction with that, don't forget to giggle and dance like no one is watching.
Woo! Oh my goodness, this has been so fun. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lisa, for joining us tonight. And,
you're welcome.
So much fun. Thank you all, everybody that's listening and everybody in the chat room, for hanging in with whatever I did or didn't do or what that I.
Judy, you did a really great job, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, well done, Judy, on your first show. Well done.
Breakout show.
I love it. I'm so glad it's behind me now. Because now I don't have to worry about it. I've already like opened up these synapses so that I can manage more now.
10 seconds.
Yes. So take us out, Brian.
Bye, everyone. We love you. Until next time. Sayonara. Good night. Good evening. Good morning, wherever you are in the world.
Hasta la vista.
See you next time. Hasta la vista.
Ciao.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye, and thank you to everyone for supporting Judy's first show.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everyone.
First, you got to get the last word. I want the last word.
No, me.
Me.
Somebody's got to press the end episode button.
End episode? Really? Seriously? Where is it?
Okay.
Top right, big red button.
Oh, okay.
Top right,
Bye.
top right, big red button. I got the last word. Bye, everybody.
Me. Bye, everybody.